Yeah. Good evening, everyone. I am C. Ashok Jethlia from Bhilwara. I am auditor of this webinar. We are delighted to welcome you all on to this webinar, which is being organized by the CP Committee of ICI. Please block your calendar for CP webinar on Wednesday and Friday. We request you to please block your calendar for the same. It is my pleasure to be moderator of 78th webinar on multi-millionaire mindsets and peer review procedure and checklist from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. In short while we'll start this webinar. First, I would like to apprise about the CP committee. The professional chartered accountancy is growing leaps and bounds, and its phenomenal growth has brought to the profession at the forefront. Today, our profession has acquired an indispensable position in the business and economy. ICA continuously aims at developing knowledge edge so that the members stand out the expectation of the society. To achieve the objective, the CP committee has been continuously striving for the production, integrity, and which is being which is being the chartered accountant synonymous with the excellence in the service. In addition to the CP committee has always been protective in the emerging needs of its member, enabling them to acquire contemporary knowledge and skills to face the challenges effectively by organizing CP programs and providing adequate opportunities. The committee also believes that members of the ICAI should look beyond the traditional areas of practice and seek and explore new areas of business and profession, and hence the CP committee is monitoring the members by providing guidance through the various workshops, seminar and national conferences, background materials, etc., and simultaneously by encouraging young and dynamic professionals to grow as a speaker, master of ceremonies, etc., in CP program. The program of this evening is as follows. We have the two sessions of 1 hour each. The topics are multi-million mindset, which is the speaker of the program is C.S. Sushilji Jalan sir, and peer review procedure and checklist, which is really handled by CA Choniti H. Doklia. And our CP committee chairman C.A. Satish Gupta ji, and I thankful the Satish Gupta ji and vice chairman CP Vishnu Kumar ji Agarwal for the giving me this opportunity. Now I request C. Sushilji Jalan sir to hand over. Before I hand over the session, just I brief the profile of Sushilji Jalan sir. He is certified national and international trainer with JCI India, JCI University USA, and also a life member of ISTD, a Government of India training organization. He has delivered 1,000 plus program for over 50,000 students across CA, CS, MBA in engineering and other academic and streams, and also conducts 300 plus training sessions for the bank, corporates, government bodies, and trade associations and NGOs on diverse professionals and soft skills topics. If any member have query, we will take the queries after the completion of the first session. Now hand over the session to the Sushilji. Sushilji, please.
Thank you, Ashok ji, and thank you to the CP committee, the chairman and vice chairman, for giving me this opportunity second time in this year. And Anil ji, who is taking care of that PPT? I think tech support, or they have taken from me PPT. Ashok ji. Ashok ji.
Sir, if it's viable for you to share the PPT, it would be convenient to.
So you make me then directly I can share, or need
Bhargav ji, Bhargav ji, if you could please make sure as a co-host.
Yeah.
सुशील सर को एक बार co-host बना दीजिए please. You can directly share, sir.
Okay. आप डायरेक्ट अक्षय जी को हेल्प चाहिए तो देखिए ना आप उनको.
Sorry, sir.
सुशील सर से पीपीटी शेयरिंग में कोई हेल्प चाहिए तो.
हाँ, मैं डायरेक्ट शेयर करूँ, उसको कैसे करूँ?
यस सर आप शेयर कर दीजिए.
मैं देखता हूँ, पहले मुझे जाना पड़ेगा ना मेरे उस पर, बैंक में
हम्म।
मैं सोचा आपने मंगा ली इसलिए हो जाएगा। हाँ जी। नहीं, मैंने मेरे लैपटॉप पे तो ओपन कर लिया है, बट हाँ जी, हाँ जी। हाँ, शेयर शेयर लिखा होगा, हाँ जी। हाँ, जूम पे।
ऑल्ट प्लस एस भी करेंगे तो हो जाएगा सर, सुशील सर।
हाँ जी।
ऑल्ट प्लस एस करेंगे तो शेयर हो जाएगा आपका।
अब ये आपके वाला जूम ओपन नहीं हो रहा है।
हम्म।
वो शेयर उसमें आया नहीं है। आपके पास से हो सकता है क्या शेयर? तो उन्होंने मुझसे क्यों मंगाया शेयर? मेरे को उसको बोलते तो पहले से करके रख। चलिए तो, नाउ जो आपके वाला जूम जो वो ओपन नहीं हो रहा, वो कहाँ चला?
वापस शेयर करोगे सर आपको लिंक?
नहीं नहीं, लिंक तो मेरे पास है। नहीं, पर वो आ ही नहीं रहा ना, जो हम्म,
तो सीधे एनीडेस्क से कनेक्ट करा दीजिए तो मेरे को टेक सपोर्ट
अब मैं
कार्गो।
दोबारा एक बार। हो गया।
यस सर, आगे।
अच्छा अच्छा, ठीक है। पार्टिसिपेंट्स कितने हैं इधर पता नहीं चल रहा आगे। अच्छा, चलिए। अब ठीक है, इसको और कुछ करना
यस,
है या?
प्रेजेंटेशन मोड में कर लीजिए सर।
हाँ, प्रेजेंटेशन बोलो। स्लाइड शो।
सर बॉटम राइट हैंड साइड में एक माइनस का, प्लस और माइनस का साइन दिखेगा।
हाँ
माइनस के साइन के जस्ट लेफ्ट में जो साइन है ना,
हाँ
आइकन है, उसको उस पर
हाँ।
क्लिक कीजिए, वो फुल स्क्रीन हो जाएगा।
नाउ इट हैज कम
यस
है।
सर, या इट्स फाइन सर।
ओके, सो हाउ मेनी पार्टिसिपेंट्स आर देयर एट प्रेजेंट?
सर अराउंड 420।
200. Okay. So already we are late. So, okay. So good afternoon to everyone who is present here. Myself, CA Sushil Jalan from Jaipur, having an experience of around 38 years of practice and a trainer conducting regular programs all over India and to some nearby countries also. Today we are discussing on multi-millionaire mindset. Means whatever we are doing, first it comes to in our mind, and then only we are able to do that. When we become a CA, before that, 4 years back or 5 years back, we thought that we should go for a CA course. And then only we started the CA course and become a CA, a chartered accountant. So everything which is coming in our life, first it has to become in our mind. Then only we can do that. If we are not able to think about something, how can we do it? If we think in our mind to buy a Maruti 800, how a BMW will come? For BMW to be purchased, we should think for BMW first. So everything, whatever we are getting in our life, it totally depends upon our mindset. Whatever we are thinking, we are getting. Now, this is the secret of life. When we are moving on the road, it has speed limits. Bank has money limits. Examinations has time limits, but thinking has no limit. We can think whatever we want, whatever way we want, and whatever extent we want. And that is when someone think that when so many things or so many pakshi are flying, why a man cannot fly? Birds are flying, but why a man cannot fly? And then come the aeroplane. So it come into our mind, and thinking has no limit. Whatever we can think, it can be done. It has proved in the last century. So your future lies in your thought process. Everything depends in your life on your thought process. So you should have that type of thought process which can give you everything. And I think nobody in this world do not want to become a multimillionaire. Everybody wants to become a multimillionaire, but first they have to be in their mind. Either it is chartered accountant or a manager or a businessman, everyone. If you want to become a multimillionaire, first become in your mind. Now, how? It is very easy to say that first become in your mind and then you can become in your life. But how? So we are talking today 7 things to be taken care of and 7 things to get rid of. And these are very simple things you can easily do. The important point is here that you write these 7 things to take care of, which you should do either in your paper or in your mobile or in your mind, wherever it is comfortable to you. And out of these 7 things, just pick one or two which your mind, your heart is saying, yes, this is good. I can do this. And then take action on those one or two things. Do for continuous 1 month and you will see the results. So whatever the 7 things I am sharing with you, they are nothing new for you. They are very simple and you all know that. But when you hear something, when you see something, you remember those things. So you are starting with the first point. And that is, in order to become a multimillionaire, you must have a powerful vision. There are synonyms for vision. You can say goal, you can say planning, anything you can say. But the word is vision. And it is not that every person should have vision. It is also that every organization is also having a vision. So if you talk about the vision of ICI, you will find everywhere the vision of ICI. And what is this? This is world leading accounting body. and Indian profession should be treated as the global profession. This is the vision of our institute. We also must have a vision. In simple terms, vision means where we want to reach. Suppose we are traveling to some other place by train, by flight, by bus, any mode. And suppose we are not knowing where to go, then how we will go? We first know where we want to go. And then only we decide that we will go to bus stand to catch the bus. And when we go to bus stand, it is not that whichever bus is standing, we will sit into them. We will inquire which bus is going the place where we want to go. And then only we will sit in that bus. So we must know where we want to go. So to become a multimillionaire, we should know where we want to reach. Suppose we are a chartered accountant and in a practice, we should have vision that after 5 years, there will be 1,000 clients. Or after 5 years, we have a revenue of 5 crores. Or we will be a equivalent to a big four company. So we should have that vision. Then only we can reach there. Without having a powerful vision, it will be very difficult for us to reach up to that level. So first of all, we should have our own vision. And it is very easy to have our own vision because we should know where we want to reach, where we want to go. For that, you can discuss with yourself, you can discuss with your family members, you can discuss with your well-wishers, your colleagues, your friends, and then come to a vision. Don't make it that within 15 minutes you will make a vision. You should take the time required. It may be 1 day, 2 days, 30 days, but the vision should be your interest. Vision should be taking care of your life thoughts. So first thing, it is to have a powerful vision. Now, second thing, plan your vision means technical term is mission. When you have vision before you, then plan how to reach there. Now we have just discussed the vision of ICI to become the leading accounting body of the world. And when you see the mission of the institute, it was clearly giving the points how we will reach there. That is mission. How you will reach to your vision, that is mission or planning. And the ICI mission says that we will reach to our vision by education and development, by regulation, by research and making standards, having focus on members and our global presence. So we will do all these things so that we reach to our vision. So therefore it is known as mission. The previous example what you have said that a chartered accountant in practice wants to have 1,000 clients or 5 crores of rupees in next 5 years. That is their vision. So how you will reach to that level, then you should write point by point. That first I will do this, second I will do this, third I will do this. And by all these doings, I will reach at my level. So the first important thing is vision. Second is mission. Now, to reach our vision, we must keep learning. And therefore, what the CPS committee is being formed and what the CPS committee is doing. This is their 78th webinar. They are awareing members to keep learning. And all sitting here members are here to learn. So, learning is the important factor to reach on our vision, because there are changes nowadays and we should update ourselves what are new things are coming. The way we were auditing before was different. The way we are auditing now, it is different. The opportunities we were having in the past are different. The opportunities present before us nowadays are different. So it is very important to always keep learning. Learning means getting knowledge or gaining knowledge. And this is the food of our mind. Whatever food we are eating, it is food for our stomach or our living. But whatever we are learning, it is the food for our mind. So it is very important that our mind should get food regularly. So we should keep learning regularly. Number four thing, start accepting mistakes. You will find that this is something different I am talking about. Nowadays, stress is very common. And the main factor for stress is that 99% times the stress is because of another person or another event. And it is not in our hand. So, how to feel free from stress? One thing is that we should start accepting our mistakes. We are a human being, and mistakes are very general for us. But in general, we do not accept our mistakes and we try to justify our mistakes. Although in our heart, we know very well that I have committed this mistake. But because of the society, because of the atmosphere, because of the area or where we are living in, we easily don't accept our mistakes. Therefore, what happens? Since we have committed a mistake and not accepting that mistake, stress started beginning in our body. Even we don't know. And when the stress reached at a very high level, it shows that I am in you by way of blood pressure, by way of diabetes, by way of heart disease. One of the important factor of all these three diseases are the stress. So if we are able to control our stress, our mind will be in our control and we can do our daily routine, daily things in the way they should be done. I have been to more than 20 countries in Asia and Europe for trainings, and I don't found any different thing between them and us. The only difference between them and us is that they use the two words, sorry and thank you, maximum times in a day. If somebody has done a small thing or whatever thing for them, they immediately say thank you. And if any mistake occurs from them, immediately they say sorry. They don't carry those things to their home. And therefore, they are avoiding stress. So it is the very simple thing that If somebody is doing good thing, say thank you. Or you have committed any mistake, just say sorry. And you will be free from stress. Now the fifth point to do, that is the management of time. Time is the most valuable asset nowadays. It was the early 19th century when a person was regarded as a millionaire who is having land. After 20-25 years, a person who is having how much gold or silver metal was regarded as the multimillionaire. 25-30 years back, a person who is having the shares of companies, good companies, having a good valuation, are regarded as the multimillionaires. But now, in present time, a person who is having time, who is managing his time in a better way, is known as the multimillionaire. So time is the money and time is regarded as wealth. And remember one thing, that everyone who is in this world having 24 hours of a time in a day, equally everyone. But you will find that some are at which stage, at the top stage, some known as middle stage, and so many are doing nothing because they don't have proper management of time. So to become a multimillionaire, you must have management of time. It's not difficult. You should plan, you should write, you should think what to do, what not to do urgent thing first. There are so many things to manage the times. The main thing in the CA practice is time. We very well know that there is a deadline to file the return. And in the past years, apart from 1 or 2 years, we always, as a chartered accountants, are requesting government that the date should be extended. Why? Because our client is not ready. For client only, we are doing all these things. Just remember last year, there was no extension of time and penalty was levied and government earned revenue in crores as penalty. But even government was not happy. They said, we don't want any penalty. We want that every person should file return in time. And you find the difference last year and this year, that 75% of the latecomers in the previous years were coming to time to file the returns. And even our fraternity, chartered accountants, also not ask government to extend the date. Government has extended because of their own reasons, but we never ask them to extend the date. Therefore, the management of time is very much important, and we should take adhere of all timings. And it is very simple. If we are planning in a better way, we can manage our time very well. The sixth point is develop patience. Patience is key to success. Things cannot come immediately or in a while. When we seed some plants of vegetables or fruits, it doesn't come immediately. It takes their own time. Some fruits are coming in 3 months, some in 6 months, some in 3 years, some in 5 years, and so on. We have to wait. Even a birth of a child take 9 months of patience. Also nowadays, a big number of persons in India, or I can say every chart accountant is dealing with the stock exchange, stock markets. There also, if you have patience and doing right decisions, you can earn a lot. We are also we are also investing in land, and also there, if we are having patience, we can earn multi-fold amount of rupees. And therefore, patience is the key. We must have patience. Even we start practice today, it will take 5 years or 10 years to reach at a level. Immediately in 1 year, we cannot do that. If we are in job, also, it take time to reach at top level. So patience is the key to success. And the last is change with the positive changes. Nowadays, change is happening every day. New things are coming. AI has come. We never thought that we can talk to someone from one place to another being mobile. But mobile arrived. Then we thought that if you want to talk with some person who is abroad, if we can see him, and the same also come. We see one another each one. So change in every field is coming very rapidly. So if we are not going with the change, and which change? Positive change. It should be the positive change. 1 second. So which change we should accept? It is the positive change only. And which change is positive? This you have to decide. Nobody else can tell you that change accordingly, this change. It is the you only who will decide which change is positive for you. Remember old days, 50 years back, 70 years back, when you are visiting at some place and they written, Atiti Bhagwan hai. The visitor is God. Only 20, 25 years back, we were able to see that the board was there, welcome. And nowadays, we are seeing the board, beware of dogs. This is the paradigm shift, what we are seeing. So the change with whom we have to change is to be decided by you only. But we have to change. Decide and change with the positive changes, better for you to reach at a level where you want to become a multimillionaire. So these are the 7 things which you should remember, or you should taken care of, or you should involve into yourself. I repeat, have a powerful vision. Plan your vision means it is your mission. Keep learning always. To be away from stress, start accepting your mistakes. You must have that management of time. Patience is key to success, and change with the positive change. So these are the 7 things. If you are doing upon, you will find a difference. Now, we are now discussing on the 7 things to get rid of. हमें भूल जाना चाहिए, हमें नहीं करनी चाहिए. We should not do these 7 things. We should be away from these 7 things whatsoever it is possible. And the first thing is unproductive use of mobile. Now today, mobile is the only word which we carry with us and everything is into it. And it is very beneficial for us. So therefore, I am not saying that don't use mobile. I have just given the heading that unproductive use of mobile. What is unproductive? Again, the definition differ from person to person. But in general, unproductive use means what we are seeing, the reels are coming, what we are seeing that is just for fun and no use of us. Again, who will decide? It's you who will decide that this is unproductive for me. If I am watching these things, they're not giving me anything as related to my life or as related to my profession. Then why to see? Because others are seeing? Or simply it is coming and giving me a laugh or smile? No. So we should very careful use our mobile to the best extent. And there are so many negative points of using mobile for a long time, health wise also, yeah, our sight wise also, means eyesight. So we should take care of that. We should have that ability to best use of mobile. Second is watching TV. We have the members or the viewers sitting here of my age, of 50 plus age, they have grown up by watching TV. And now I am saying today that don't watch TV. Why? Because nowadays everything is there. What we used to see in mobile, what you see is used to see in TV is coming onto the mobile. Then why to see the TV? Why to see the news? That is in our hand in mobile. If we want to see some movies or that entertainment things, we can watch TV, but not every time. The news channel are coming and discussing on so many things. It is just wasting our time, and we are not getting anything as related to our life, our personal life, or our professional life. So we should cut down the time of watching TV if we are doing that. Third thing is the procrastination. Means we are postponing things to do on a later stage. Most of us are following this. We will do it tomorrow, we will do it day after tomorrow. Or so many things we were thought to be getting rid of in our personal life that we will start these doing from 1st of January next year, new year. 15 days back, we had taken a resolution that we will start morning walk from 1st of January, the new year. Why? Who stopped you to start 15 days back? This is known as procrastination. And when we procrastinate, means we are doing things at last time. At last time, what happens? We do in hurry. The things are not at the best level, or we come into stress. And there are so many factors of this. So always try to do the things at the right time. What we have seen in the past slide, that management of time. So to do all the things the right way, To keep away from stress, don't procrastinate. Do the things at the right time. To speak ill about others. Again, you will say that this is something different I am saying. Generally, we speak some negative things about others in their absence. So two, three things happens. First thing, there is a saying, whatever you are giving, it comes back to you. This is a law of universe. So when you are speaking something negative about others, someday some people will start in the same tone for us also. It is 99.99% true that if you are speaking negative about something, the information will reach to that person. And also, not in the same context which you have spoken, but some different context. And then anything can happen. So therefore, in order to be stress-free, in order to allow your mind to think over how to make money, how to become multimillionaire, how to grow our practice, anything, don't speak any negative thought or ill about others. However, it is difficult, but if you practice, we can do easily. Uncontrolled language. You just see the multimillionaires, 100 multimillionaires top from all over the world and listen them. Listen their public statements. You will not find a single person whose language is not good or uncontrolled. They always speak very calmly. This is the quality of multimillionaires. If you want to speak in different type of languages, that is allowed to speak with your friends. But when you are publicly speaking or you're speaking with your clients or other persons to whom you don't know, always have control on your language. And if you have control on your language, you will be at the top of the world. This is one of the important things to be taken care. Wasteful expenditure. Again, there is a debate. There can be a debate on this thing. One word is expenditure. Second is wasteful expenditure. And the definition of wasteful expenditure is different for every person. An investment on purchasing a BMW of 55 lakhs is a wasteful expenditure for someone who said that a car of 5 or 10 lakh rupees is okay. The purpose is same. They are taking from one place to another. Why to spend money on those things? So if one thing is wasteful for one person, second thing is either required or luxury for him, but he is able to do that. So again, this you have to decide what is wasteful expenditure and what is expenditure. So if you feel it is you only, if you feel that any expenditure which is wasteful for you, not for any other person, it is wasteful for you, don't do that. Very simple. Who said to do that? You only are doing that. So, whenever you find that any expenditure is wasteful, don't do that. It will save money for you. It will save you from stress. It will build capital for you. So the sixth point, which is important, is take care of your expenditure. Don't go for any wasteful expenditure. Even I heard that some of the multi-millionaires are even taking care of that, not to spend 50 rupees more. 50 means 50 rupees. The 50 rupees is having value of 50 rupees. So if we are able to save that, why to do that? Wasteful expenditure. We must save. So this is the way we can go for our vision to achieve that. And the last point, which is again a different point and a very valuable point. Disrespect of goddess of house. Goddess means Lakshmi. And who are the goddess of house? Means Lakshmi of house. It started from our mother, from our sister, from our wife, and from our daughter. These all are goddess of our house. And we should never disrespect. Our all shastras and everything shows or writes or teach about to give respect to all these in our house. Because if we are disrespecting our goddess of house, the real goddess Lakshmi will think 10 times whether I should go into this house or not. This is a different perception, but this is true. And I think you all will support me. So therefore, whenever we are disrespecting our goddess in our house, we are going away from the money to come into our house. So, finally, to become a multi-millionaire, it lies in your thought process. If you are able to think that I will be getting these things in the future or I will reach there, nobody can stop you. But these are the 7 things which you should taken care of, 7 things you should avoid. And finally, 2 words. Work hard. First is work hard. If you are not working, you will not get. And for that, you have to take action. Without action, nothing can be done. There are some people, those are only dreamers. They dream a lot. They dream of very deep things, but they are not doers. Success comes to only those persons who are doers. Those who are only dreamers can only dream, but doers can convert their dream into success, dream into reality. So please, whatever your mind says that I will do this, pick from today's session and act upon that. And we can connect after 30 days. My mobile number is there. We can connect after 30 days and you can share me that whether you are able to get some benefit or not by doing these things. So I wish you all the best and thank you very much to the CP committee once again. And now open for questions.
Yeah, if anybody have any query, please let us know. We are right now we have more than 500 participants in this meeting. Question answer is open. If anybody has any question, please 3 questions here, sir. Yeah, some question is there, sir.
Yes, please.
Mr. Anil Batra from Delhi, New Delhi. He's asking how do you execute peer peer review पे आ रहा है sir actually. सर peer review पे ही है, अपने पे कोई भी नहीं है अभी तो. Right now more than 630 participants are there.
Very good.
So sir, thank you very much, sir, for a nice presentation and effective deliberation on the topic. I hope members will get benefited from this. Now I
Okay.
call upon CA Chunoti ji as Doklia ji for the next deliberation on peer review procedure and checklist. Let me brief about her. She has written multiple articles on income tax, GST, etc. For various newsletters, journals, and newspapers. She has served as a faculty in seminars organized by Bhuj branch and Gandhinagar branch of WIRC of ICI. She has also authored and co-authored books on tax planning practical aspects, all about trust and NGOs, export promotion measures in India, handbook on taxation of private trust of Income Tax Act 1961. She is very much learned speaker, and I hope on the topic of peer review, members will get benefited. If anybody have any query, please keep ready or keep me posted. We will discuss the queries after the deliberation. And now I request Chunoti ji to please continue.
Thank you. Today, much discussing topic is peer review. As we all know, phase 4 of peer review mandate was to be rolled out tomorrow, that is from 1st January 2026. But as per announcement made today by the peer review board, now phase 4 will be applicable from 31st December 2026. But still, there is much confusion related to peer review. Whether peer review is mandatory for any firm or not, what is the procedure for peer review, how much time it takes, what is the fees for peer review. We will discuss all these topics today. So, to start with, first we will discuss highlights of discussion. First, we'll discuss meaning, significance, and scope of peer review. Then we will discuss from which date peer review will be applicable for any firm. Then we will discuss peer review procedure, what is the actual peer review procedure, and what is the checklist, that is which documents are required for peer review, and from which date AQMM version 2.0 will be applicable. And at last we will discuss FAQ related to peer review. Now, we have discussed that peer review will be mandatory for some firms. But what is the meaning of peer review? What is the peer review actually is? The term peer review would mean review of the work done by a professional by another member of the same profession with similar standing. Meaning thereby, any professional work done by a CA firm will be reviewed by another independent CA and not by a member of any other profession. Now the question comes, what is the meaning of work used here? Work means audit and assurance engagement conducted during the peer review period. Meaning thereby, all audit and assurance engagements signed by CA firm during the peer review period will be reviewed by the peer reviewer. Hence, peer review process covers review of audit and assurance engagements conducted by the practice unit during the peer review period. Now the question comes, why peer review? Why institute has mandated peer review for some firms? What is the significance of peer review? Peer review is important because it is the process based on principle of systematic monitoring of the procedure adopted and records maintained while carrying out audit and assurance services in the course of one's professional responsibility to ensure and sustain quality. Hence, peer review process ensures and sustains quality of the work done by the practice unit during the peer review period. And peer review is primarily directed towards ensuring as well as enhancing the quality of audit and assurance services of CS in practice. Hence, peer review process not only ensures but enhances the quality of audit and assurance services of a practicing firm. Also, peer review process is intended to review the quality control framework of the practice unit as well as proper and consistent application of such control framework across engagement samples selected for review. Hence, in the process of peer review, the peer reviewer ensures whether quality control framework is properly applied across sample engagements selected by the peer reviewer or not. And the main objective of the peer review is to ensure that in carrying out the assurance service engagements, CA complies with technical, professional, and ethical standards as applicable, including other regulatory requirements that too, and have in place proper systems, including documentation thereof, to amply demonstrate the quality of assurance services. Hence, the peer reviewers ensures that whether practice unit has followed auditing and assurance standards, standards on quality control, standards on review engagements, and other ethical standards in the audit and assurance services conducted during the peer review period. And where a practice unit is not following the prescribed standards, the reviewer are expected to recommend measures to improve the procedure followed by the practice unit. Hence, the peer review conducted is not only just for reporting purposes that the practice unit has not followed so and so standards properly, but the peer reviewer will recommend which standard is required to be followed by the practice unit and how it should be followed by the practice unit. Now coming to the scope of peer review. In the peer review process, the review shall cover compliance with technical, professional, and ethical standards, quality of reporting, systems and procedures for carrying out assurance services, training programs for staff, including article and audit assistants concerned with assurance functions, including availability of appropriate infrastructure, and compliance with directions and guidelines issued by the council to the members, including fees to be charged, number of audits undertaken, register for assurance engagements conducted during the year, and such other related records. Also, compliance with directions and guidelines issued by the council in relation to article assistant and or audit assistant, including attendance register, work diaries, stipend payments, and such other related records. Meaning thereby, the peer reviewer will ensure whether the practice unit has charged fees for the audits undertaken and assurance engagement undertaken during the peer review period as per the minimum fees prescribed by the institute or not, whether the practice unit has maintained register for assurance engagements conducted during the year, whether the practice unit has maintained work diary for article and audit assistant, whether the practice unit has maintained attendance register, and all the records which are required for audit and assurance engagements are whether maintained by the practice unit or not. And the peer review process shall apply to all audit and assurance engagements signed by the practice unit during the peer review period. For example, if the peer review period is 22 to 25, all the audit and assurance engagements signed by the practice unit during the period 22, 23, 23, 24, and 24, 25 will be covered under peer review. Now comes to meaning of assurance engagement. As we have seen earlier, all audit and assurance engagement will be covered in the peer review. But what is the meaning of assurance engagement? Assurance engagement means an engagement in which practitioner expresses a conclusion designed to enhance the degree of confidence of the intended users other than the responsible party about the outcome of the evaluation or measurement of a subject matter against criteria. Meaning thereby, if the practice unit has issued certificate to a bank or income tax appellate tribunal or income tax authority, GST authority, or any other authority other than client, based on the outcome of evaluation or measurement conducted during the peer review period and the facts and other details obtained by the client, it will be covered under the assurance engagement. But some engagements are not covered under the assurance engagement, which are as under: first is management consultancy engagement, then representation before various authorities. For example, if the practice unit is represented before ITAT on behalf of client, it will not be covered under assurance engagement. Then engagements to prepare tax returns or advising clients in taxation matters, or engagement for the compilation of financial statement. Now here the notable point is that if the practice unit is only conducted compilation of financial statement, it will not be covered under the assurance engagement. But if the practice unit has reviewed financial statement and issued review report, it will be covered under the assurance engagements. Or if engagements solely to assist the client in preparing, compiling, or collating information other than financial statement, or testifying as an expert witnesses, or providing expert opinion on points of principles such as accounting standards or the applicability of certain laws on the basis of facts provided by the client. For example, if the practice unit has given expert opinion about the applicability of GST on some items, this assignment will not be covered as assurance engagement. And engagement for due diligence will not be covered as assurance engagement, and any other services rendered or function performed by a practitioner not described the council to be assurance engagement will not be covered as assurance engagement. Now coming to the peer review mandate. From which date peer review will be mandatory for any practice unit? The ICI has divided the applicability of peer review mandatory in 4 phases. First phase was rolled out from 1st April 2022. It was applicable to practice unit which proposed to undertake statutory audit of enterprises whose equity or debt securities are listed in India or abroad, as defined under SEBI listing obligations and disclosure requirements regulation 2015. The practice unit falling under this criteria were mandatory to obtain peer review certificate on or before 1st April 2022. Next phase was rolled out from 1st July 2024. It was applicable to practice unit which proposes to undertake statutory audit of unlisted public companies having paid up capital of not less than rupees 500 crore or having annual turnover of not less than rupees 100 crore or having in aggregate outstanding loans, debentures and deposits of not less than rupees 500 crore as on the 31st March of immediately preceding financial year, or practice unit rendering attestation services and having 5 or more partners, meaning thereby phase 2 is divided in 2 practice unit, 2 type of practice unit. First type of practice units are the practice units which proposes to undertake statutory audit of unlisted public company as per the specified criteria. And second category are the practice unit which have 5 or more partners and renders attestation function. Hence, if the firm has 5 or more partners and conducting attestation function but not conducting an audit of unlisted public companies, peer review is mandatory with effect from 1st July 2024 for such practicing unit. Next phase, phase 3, it was rolled out from 1st July 2025. It was applicable to practice units which proposes to undertake the statutory audit of entities which have raised funds from public or banks or financial institutions of over rupees 50 crore during the period under review, or of any body corporate including trusts which are covered under public interest entities, or practice units rendering attestation services and having 4 or more partners. Here, practice unit has been divided in 3 types. First types are practice unit which undertakes statutory audit of entities as per the specified criteria. Second type are the practice units which conduct audit of body corporate, including trust, which are covered under the public interest entity. And third type of trust, public practice units, which are renders attestation services and having 4 or more partners. Hence, suppose if the practice unit has 4 or more partners and not renders any statutory audit of entities mentioned here, or renders body corporate, even however, phase 3 will be applicable to such firm, and such firm must have peer review certificate on or before 1st July 2025. Without obtaining the peer review certificate, the firm cannot conduct even attestation function also. And last phase was to be rolled out from tomorrow, that is from 1st January 2022 6. But as per today's announcement, now it will be deferred till 31st December 2026. Hence, phase 4 will be rolled out from 31st December 2026. It will cover to the practice unit which proposes to undertake audits of branches of public sector banks or practice unit rendering attestation services and having 3 or more partners. Hence, this phase has been divided in 2 types of practice units. First types of practice units which wants to undertake audit of statutory bank branch, or and second type of practice unit which have 3 or more partners and renders attestation services. And as we have seen earlier for phase 3, if the firm has 3 or more partners, and even if such firm is not wants to conduct a statutory bank branch audit, such firm must have peer review certificate on or before 31st December 2026. Without obtaining this certificate, the firm cannot conduct even attestation function, as phase 4 is applicable even if such firm is not conduct audit of bank branch. Now coming to the peer review procedure. At present, all the peer review procedure is offline. Forms are filled by sending mail to the peer review board, but as informed by the peer review committee, the process of peer review will be made online. The peer review portal is ready and it will be made live in near future. So first we will discuss full procedure of peer review. We will see how the procedure of peer review is actually conducted. And as we all know, first step of the peer review is filing of Form 1. Practice unit files Form 1 with adding star for initiation of peer review. Then the practice unit receives mail from the peer review board for selection of name of the peer reviewer. Practice unit selects name of the peer reviewer from the panel of 3 peer reviewers from the mail received from the peer review board. Then the peer review board will inform the selected peer reviewer about his selection as peer reviewer. Then the peer reviewer will send mail to the peer review board and the practice unit about acceptance of peer review of allotted practice unit. Then peer reviewer will inform submit Form 2 for acceptance, come declaration of confidentiality to the practice unit within 2 working days. This Form 2 must have to be submitted to the practice unit by the peer reviewer within 2 days. And after receiving Form 1 from the practice unit, the actual peer review procedure starts. Date of receipt of Form 1 is most important. How? We will see it later. And after peer review, will select samples as per sample selection criteria from the list of audit of assurance engagement mentioned by practice unit in Form 1. The peer reviewer will submit Form 5 for visiting office of the practice unit along with list of samples selected within 2 days. How the samples are selected, we will not discuss here because of paucity of time. But if the practice unit has gross receipt less than rupees 5 crore, minimum 10 samples are required to be selected by the peer reviewer. And after selecting these 10 samples, the peer reviewer will inform the practice unit by filing Form 5 that I have selected these samples Please keep ready all documents related to this sample when I will visit your office. And then the peer practice unit shall keep ready all documents related to sample selected by the peer reviewer. Which documents are required, we will see it later. Peer reviewer will complete the peer review within 6 days after visiting office of the practice unit. If additional clarification is needed from the practice unit on the information furnished or not furnished by the practice unit, peer reviewer will submit Form 6 to the practice unit. And the entire peer review process shall be completed within 20 days from the date of receipt of Form 1 from the practice unit. Here we know date of receipt of Form 1 is how important. Then peer reviewer will submit preliminary report if needed. Otherwise, peer reviewer will submit final report in Form 9. Submission of preliminary report is not mandatory. If there is no any doubts by the peer reviewer will submit only final report in Form 9. And in case of delay in the peer review process beyond the time frame prescribed under the peer review guidelines, the practice unit and the reviewer shall make an intimation to the board in Form 7 seeking extension of time, giving reasons for the delay in the process and submission of report to the secretariat. Suppose due to health of the peer reviewer partner of the practice unit, the peer review is not completed within 20 days, the peer reviewer shall file Form 7 here with the signature of peer reviewer and the partner of the practice unit by explaining reason for the delay. Now coming to the details required for Form 1. Now, as we all know, main part of the peer review process is Form 1. Hence, it is necessary to understand what is Form 1 and how it is filed. As we have seen earlier, Form 1 is application cum questionnaire to be submitted by the practice unit. There are 3 parts of Form 1, Part A, Part B and Part C. Part A is profile of practice unit. It covers basic details of the practice unit such as name, address, email ID, PAN number, date of establishment of firm, website of firm, etc. And other details such as details of partners, staff of practice unit, gross receipt of practice unit during the peer review period, etc. Such basic details must be filed as per ICI record only. Now, Part B. Part B is general controls as per standard on quality control SQC1. It covers leadership responsibility for quality within the firm, ethical requirements, acceptance and continuance of client relationship and specific engagements, human resources, engagement performance, and monitoring. Hence, Part B deals with general controls as per SQC1. And next, Part C. Part C is code obtained by self-evaluation using AQMM version 2.0. It covers questionnaires related to AQMM level 1. Now, this part is not mandatory to be filled by the practice unit to whom AQMM version 2.0 is not applicable. If the firm voluntarily wants to conduct a score as per AQMM version 2.0, then the practice unit can file Part C. Otherwise, the firm can skip Part C and submit Form 1 along with annexes to the peer review board on mail ID peerreviewboard@ici.in. Now coming to some notable points related to Form 1. Sometimes after submission of the report by the peer review board mails some queries to the practice unit. Most of the queries arises due to non-submission of incorrect submission of details in Form 1. Hence, to avoid such queries and to complete the peer review process, including receipt of peer review certificate within time, the practice unit shall ensure compliance of some points. Such points are under. First is the practice unit shall fill all the details in Part A, basic details as we have seen earlier. Such basic details has to be filled as per ICI record only, and the firm must download firm card and firm certificate from SSP portal and verify details from it. if there is change in any of the details, the firm must ensure that first such details has to be communicated to ICI and then it will be included to Form 1. Suppose in case of change of partner, change of address of firm or change in any other details, first the practice unit must intimate ICI and then after incorporating change is in the ICI record, then such details shall be incorporated in Form 1. Also, the firm must properly fill all the columns of Form 1 in detail and mentioning only yes or no. Some firms are mentioning yes or no in Part B. Part B is questionnaire of Part B of Form 1. As we all know, it is questionnaire. All the details of the questionnaire as demanded in Form 1 must be narrated in detail. If we mention yes or no, it will be incorrect details and the queries will become from the peer review board. Hence, to avoid such queries, it is necessary that all details in Part B of Form 1 must be filled in detail. And if the firm has obtained professional fees from any client exceeding 15% of the gross receipt of practice unit during the peer review period, mention it in Part A. Even if the practice unit has provided non-assurance services to such client, reporting in Form 1 is mandatory. For example, if the practice unit has obtained 20% of fees from the client, but the practice unit has provided non-assurance type of services. Now, in such case, even if the practice unit has provided non-assurance type of services, mentioning such details in Part A is mandatory. It will not be covered under sample because it is non-assurance type of services, but mentioning such details in Form 1 in Part A is mandatory for such practice unit because the firm has received more than 15% of fees from one client. Next is file Annexure A to Form 1 only as per the format mentioned in Form 1. If needed, mention as per the annexure in Form 1 and attach annexure separately with Form 1. Practice unit must mention details in all the annexure. If there is no audit and assurance engagement related to any annexure, suppose annexure B and C are not applicable to the practice unit, such practice units shall mention nil in all these annexure which are not applicable or there is no audit or assurance engagement conducted during the peer review period related to any of the annexure. Also, the firm must bifurcate details of UDIN generated during the peer review period as per Annexure A to K and mention details in the respective annexure only. Meaning thereby, if the firm has conducted statutory bank branch audit, it should be mentioned in Annexure A. If the firm has conducted audit of any body corporate, including trusts which are covered under public interest entity, the details must be mentioned in Annexure G. Only the details which are not covered in any other annexure shall be mentioned in Annexure K. Sometimes some firms are mentioning all details in Annexure K, but it is necessary to bifurcate all details in Annexure A to K. Next is mentioning of details in Annexure to Form 1 as per UDIN generated during the review period. The firm must mention year-wise, partner-wise, and type of services while details. Meaning thereby, the firm must keep ready list of UDIN generated during the peer review period and bifurcate the details in year-wise, partner-wise, and services-wise in Annexure A to K. Hence, if there are 3 partners in the firm must mention separate details of each audit and assurance engagements conducted by one partner for year 1 to 3, by second partner for year 1 to 3, and so on. And all the details must be bifurcated year-wise, partner-wise, and type of service-wise in all the annexure A to K. And if any certificate is issued by the practice unit, it should be clearly mentioned type of certificate and avoid mentioning only others in Annexure K. Sometimes Some firms are mentioning only others in annexure K. How the board and the peer review will know type what is which type of engagement? Hence, it should be clearly mentioned. If it is certificate, mention certificate. If it is tax audit, mention tax audit. If it is internal audit, mention that it is internal audit. Avoid mentioning only other in annexure K. Also specifically mention that it is certificate for net worth, turnover, etc. So the peer reviewer has better idea that which type of certificate it is, and it is clearly selected in the samples. So it is most necessary that only mention other will be avoided in annexure K. And the firm shall mention turnover, borrowing, and net worth details for each audit and assurance engagement. There are columns of turnover, borrowing, and net worth details. Some firms are preparing the annexure as per their own formats and not following the formats mentioned in the Form 1. But the firm must ensure that the details mentioned in annexure are as per the format in the Form 1, and it should include turnover, borrowing, and net worth details of each and every assurance engagement covered under the peer review. Now comes to the checklist of documents. The question is, which documents are required to get ready when the peer reviewer visits the office of practice unit? There are some documents which are related to administration and management of practice unit. First document is form and form certificate downloaded from SSP portal. As we have seen, it must be submitted to the peer reviewer. The copy of forms PAN and GST registration. If the firm has obtained GST registration, copy of GST registration certificate must be submitted to the peer reviewer. Partnership deed and supplementary deed for appointment of new partner. If any new partner has joined the firm, or if any existing partner has resigned from the firm during the peer review period, the practice unit must submit the original partnership deed as well as supplementary partnership deed to the peer reviewer. But it must be ensured that such change in partnership must be reflected in the firm card. If it is not reflected, the firm must inform the institute about the change first, as we have seen earlier this topic. Next is organization chart containing list of partners, staff member, and article. How many partners, staff member, and article are there in the firm? It must be intimated to the practice unit. List of authorized signatories. Which are the authorized signatories of the firm? Sometimes the firm has not given rise to sign the audit reports or any other documents of the firm, and it is mentioned in the partnership deed but not intimated to the peer reviewer. We should avoid this. Inform to the peer reviewer about the list of authorized signatories. And the quality control manual, that is firm manual as per SQC1. As we all know, our institute has prescribed format of the firm manual. It is available on the institute's website. The practice unit must prepare the firm manual as per the prescribed format and shall submit it to the peer reviewer. Next document is self-evaluation as per digital competency maturity model, and service rules containing remuneration and reward policy, rotation policy for staff, and joining checklist for staff members, and appointment letter for appointment of each staff member, letter received from for maintaining confidentiality and non-disclosure agreement. Some firms are maintaining appointment letters for staff but not obtaining confidentiality and non-disclosure agreement for them. This document is most important for the practice unit to maintain confidentiality. Hence, it must be obtained for every appointed staff by the by the firm. Next is CP record of partners and CA staff member. It must be informed to the peer reviewer whether the partners and the CA staff member has complied with the CP guidelines of the institute or not. And staff register containing name of staff member, work executed, and daily attendance, and details of staff training program if conducted. Now comes to the documents related to audit and assurance engagements. Now it must be noted that this list of documents required may vary based on type of audit and assurance engagement conducted by the practice unit. The documents may be required more if the audit and assurance engagement type is different from the type of audit engagement listed here under. So this is not complete. This list is not complete, and it must be varied based on practice unit. Now the first document is list of UDIN generated during the peer review period. It is downloaded from the UDIN portal only. And list of clients, name of client, nature of service provided, period of service, and billing amount. Next is details of KYC document obtained from each client as per ICI norm. And audit engagement and acceptance letter. ADT1 and ADT3 for company audit. If the practice unit is newly appointed for the statutory audit of any company, or if during the peer review period, if the practice unit has withdrawn from the engagement of conducting company audit, then ADT3 file, it must be submitted to the peer reviewer. An NOC obtained from the previous auditor. As we all know, without obtaining NOC, now the UDIN will also not be generated. And audit plan and audit program for each audit under review. Compliance checklist. Accounting standard, GST and CARO checklist, and general checklist for company audit, bank audit, and tax audit, etc. is circulated to staff members for conducting audit. If the firm has prepared checklist for audit, for example, tax audit, it containing detail of documents required to be obtained from the client, which details should be checked during the audit, and which documents shall be submitted to the various authority, and which staff have conducted the tax audit. Actually, the firm must maintain such details of checklist and must be submitted it to the peer reviewer. Next is details of audit sheet for each audit containing details of audit work done by each staff member, date of work done, name of senior in charge who reviewed it. That is maker checker concept. There should be one maker and one checker in every audit and assurance engagement. There should be one person who has verified all the details and another person who has reviewed whether that maker person has verified all the details or not. The firm must maintain in Excel sheet or any other type of record that who has first checked the document and who has verified the documents. Then audit reports and financial reports statements, including immediately preceding period for each audit under review. All working papers and supporting papers for audit under review. All working papers which are required to conduct audit must be submitted to the peer reviewer. MOA, Memorandum of Association, and Articles of Association for company audit. MRL, received from each audit under review. Documents for fees charged and receipt of fees. List of fees pending since long time, if any. Even if the client from whom the fees is pending is not covered under the sample, but fees are pending from such client since long time, the fact must be disclosed to the peer reviewer. And self-declaration for no disciplinary proceeding initiated against the firm. Such declarations must be submitted on the letterhead of the practice unit. Next declaration is self-declaration for information provided in clause 6 and 7 of part B2, indicating that such details are correct, and confirmation that all the assurance lines are included in Annexure A to Form 1. And last, if AQMM is applicable, score of AQMM self-review report if done. Now comes fees for peer reviewer. After completion of peer review, the firm must pay fees to the peer reviewer, and the peer reviewer attaches the receipt of fees reviewed from the practice unit with the peer review report. If the peer review practice unit has not paid fees to the peer reviewer, he will not submit report to the peer review board before receipt of fees from the practice unit. And as we can see here, there are many slabs for fees. Fees payable to the peer reviewer varies based on average gross receipt or revenue of the practice unit during the peer review period. Hence, if average gross receipt or revenue from assurance services clients of the practice unit per annum for the period under review is up to rupees 10 lakh, minimum fees shall be paid is rupees 15,000. But if the practice unit is conducting statutory audit of listed entities, fees shall be paid rupees 18,000. And there are many slabs as disclosed here. Last slab is the fees of rupees 5 lakh, which shall be paid if the gross receipt of the practice unit is more than rupees 30 crore per annum. And if such practice unit conducts statutory audit of listed entity, fee shall be paid rupees 6 lakhs. Now coming to notable points related to fees for peer review. First point is calculation of fees. For calculating average gross receipt or revenue from assurance service client or practice unit per annum, the sum total of gross receipt or revenue from assurance service clients for all the periods under review shall be divided by number of years under review. For example, if total of gross receipt during the peer review period is rupees 30 lakhs, it shall be divided by year of peer review, that is 3. Hence, total average gross receipt per year is rupees 10 lakh. Hence, first we should check what is the fees applicable to the receipt of rupees 10 lakh in the table mentioned above, and pay the peer review fees to the peer review as per the details mentioned in the table. And only receipt from audit and assurance engagement will be included in calculating fees for peer review. Some firms are confusing whether all gross receipt received during the year by the practice unit will be included, or only fees received from audit and assurance engagement are included in calculation of fees of peer reviewer. But it is clarified that receipt from only assurance and engagement shall be included in calculation of fees for peer review, and receipt from other professional engagement will not be included. And if the peer review period, minimum recommended fee shall be paid to the peer reviewer is under. In case it is partnership firm, fees shall be paid rupees 1,000 per partner, subject to minimum of rupees 5,000 and maximum of rupees 10,000. Suppose there are 3 partners, fees shall be paid rupees 5,000 only. And in case of sole proprietorship concern, it is rupees 5,000. But to whom it is applicable? It is applicable to units which were not established before 3 years. For example, if the unit was established before 1 year, fees shall be payable as per this criteria. And in case of peer reviewer of a branch of practice unit, fees shall be payable by HO of practice unit for rupees 5,000 plus the peer review fees of the HO as per the table mentioned above. Now coming to the audit quality maturity model, that is AQMM version 2.0. As we have seen earlier, AQMM version 2.0 has been rolled out from 1st April 2025. But what is AQMM? Audit quality maturity model. What is the thing? AQMM means it is a cross-functional evaluation model for practicing firms covering engagement teams, firm leadership, human resource team, IT department, administration department, and the management information system of the firm. Now, the word here, firm here means individual, sole proprietorship, LLB, and partnership. Hence, members conducting practice as individual and sole proprietor are also covered under AQMM. There are some confusion that if the firm is practicing as sole proprietor, AQMM is not applicable, but it is clarified that AQMM will be applicable to sole proprietor also. An objective of AQMM is to provide a evaluation metrics for members or firms to be able to self-assess their current level of audit quality, identifies area for improvement, and then develop a roadmap for upgrading to a higher level of maturity by enhancing the overall quality of attestation function and other factors as stated in the model. And EQMM examines whether the audit conducted by the practice unit adheres to professional standards and ensures accuracy and delivers value to stakeholders. It also focuses on the firm's policies and practice related to HR functions, and it also aims to evaluate firms' efficiency in managing their digital presence, the extent of operational automation, the effectiveness of the file storage system, data backup frequency, the security of staff devices, the safeguarding of client personal data, the level of audit processes automation, and the adoption of advanced and emerging technologies. And as we all know, ICAI has developed the implementation guide for audit quality maturity model. It can be seen in the ICAI website under the peer review committee tab, and it can be downloaded from the link mentioned here. And the level of AQMM of the firm assessed under AQMM is also hosted by the peer review board and on the peer review committee website. And level of AQMM is also mentioned in the peer review certificate. If we have seen the peer review certificate of the practice unit to whom AQMM is applicable, level of AQMM is also mentioned in it. Now coming to applicability of AQMM. Now, as we all know, AQMM 2.0 was voluntary applicable from 1st April 2025, but now it is ICAI has widened the scope of applicability of version 2.0, and now it will be mandatorily applicable to some firms. In applicability of the firms are as under. First are the firms to whom auditing the holding or subsidiary or associated or joint ventures of the entities. Which are the entities? First is a listed entity or banks other than cooperative banks except multi-state cooperative banks and insurance companies. However, the firms conducting only bank branch are not covered under the here in point number 1. Hence, if the firm is conducting only bank branch audit, AQMM will not be applicable. For other firm listed here, AQMM will be applicable from 1st April 2026. Next are the firms referred to as practice unit in peer review guidelines 2022, which proposes to undertake statutory audit of unlisted public companies having paid up capital of not less than 500 crore or having annual turnover of not less than 100 crore or having in aggregate outstanding loans, debentures and deposits of not less than rupees 500 crore on the 31st March of immediately preceding financial year. For such firms, AQMM will be applicable from 1st April 2026. Third are the firms which are referred to as practice unit in peer review guidelines 2022 and which proposes to undertake the statutory audit of entities which have raised funds from public or banks or financial institutions of over rupees 500 crore during the period under review or of any body corporate including trusts which are covered under public interest entity. EQMM will be applicable from 1st April 2027. Now last part. Coming to FAQ related to peer review. There are many confusions and doubts related to applicability of peer review procedure and forms for peer review, fees payable, etc. To solve it, we will discuss some FAQ. I hope most of your doubts will be covered in the FAQ. First question is, if the practice unit is a proprietorship firm and not empaneled as statutory auditor of any bank branch as on 31st December 2026, but the practice unit wants to undertake statutory bank branch audit if allotted after January 2027, whether it is mandatory for such practice to have a peer review certificate as on 31st December 2026? The answer is a practice unit should have a valid peer review certificate before accepting statutory audit and at the time of signing the audit report for the statutory audit. Hence, if a practice unit is not empaneled as statutory audit bank branch auditor as on 31st December 2026, the practice unit must have peer review certificate at the time of signing the statutory audit report. Next question is, if the practice unit has 3 partners and the practice unit is empaneled as statutory bank branch auditor of a bank, but not get the practice unit peer reviewed before 31st December 2026, whether such practice unit can continue attest function after 31st December 2026? The answer is no. If the practice unit is empaneled as statutory bank branch auditor, it is mandatory for the practice unit to have a peer review certificate as on 31st December 2026. If not, the practice unit cannot continue attest function after 31st December 2026. Next question is, if a practice unit is a proprietorship firm and conducting statutory audit of a client which has raised funds from financial institution for rupees 10 crore and from bank rupees 45 crore, whether it is mandatory for such practice unit to have a peer review certificate before 1st July 2025? Here, the term raised funds, if we see the peer review mandate, the term used raised funds is used in phase 3, means total amount of funds raised from banks and financial institutions during the peer review period, and if it exceeds rupees 50 crore in aggregate, the practice unit falls under phase 3 of the peer review mandate. Hence, a valid peer review certificate is mandatory for such practice unit before accepting statutory audit of such client. Now, whether threshold of rupees 50 crore under phase 3 is applicable to trust, this question comes again and again in minds of many practicing units, but the answer is, as per FAQ issued by ICAI, threshold limit of rupees 50 crore is not applicable to trust. Hence, phase 3 is applicable to all body corporates or trusts, including NGOs and charitable trusts, which are covered under public interest entity without any threshold limit. Now the question is, whether statutory audit of a cooperative bank is covered under phase 4? Answer is, statutory branch audit of a public sector banks would be covered under phase 4 of the mandate, but statutory branch audit of a cooperative banks are not covered under phase 4 of the peer review mandate. Now the question comes, whether concurrent audit of a public sector bank branch will be covered under phase 4? Answer is, as per the peer review mandate, phase 4 mandate is applicable only for statutory branch audit of a public sector bank. It is not applicable to concurrent audit of a public sector bank. Now, whether engagement for filing income tax appeal and representing before ITAT is covered under audit and assurance engagement, we have seen reply of this earlier, and as we have seen earlier, representation before various authorities on behalf of client is not covered under audit and assurance engagement. Suppose if the practice unit has 2 partners, one more partner has joined the practice unit from 1st December 2026, whether phase 4 mandate will be applicable for such practice unit? Answer is, it will be reckoned as on the date of mandatory applicability of the particular phase of the peer review mandate and onwards. And as phase 4 will be applicable from 31st December 2026 if the practice unit has 3 or more partners as on 31st December 2026. Phase 4 mandate will be applicable to such firm even if the third partner has joined the firm during the financial year 26-27. Suppose if after obtaining peer review certificate, if name of the practice unit has changed without changing firm registration number, whether peer review certificate issued earlier will be valid? Answer is, after obtaining peer review certificate, if name of the firm is changed but firm registration number, that is FRN, remains same, or if the firm is converted into LLP, the firm shall send the mail or written request for issuance of duplicate peer review certificate to the peer review board on the mail ID peerreviewboard@ici.in along with an affidavit for issuance of the duplicate certificate. Now, suppose if the firm practice is the practice unit and conducting statutory bank branch audit, whether it is mandatory to fill Part C in Form 1 for such practice unit. As we have seen earlier, AQMM version 2.0 will not be applicable if the practice unit is conducting statutory bank branch audit. Hence, it is not mandatory to fill Part C in Form 1 as this part is related to scores obtaining by self-evaluation using AQMM version 2.0. Now, suppose if gross receipt of the practice unit from the audit and assurance engagement during the review period 22-23 is rupees 10 lakh, 23-24 is rupees 20 lakh, and 24-25 is rupees 30 lakh. How much fees for the peer review shall be paid to the peer reviewer? We have seen calculation how the peer reviewer fees shall be paid by the practice unit. And as far as the details discussed earlier, as the total receipt from the assurance and audit engagement is rupees 60 lakh, average receipt for 3 years will be rupees 20 lakh. Hence, fees payable for practice unit as per the table discussed earlier will be rupees 25,000. And if the practice unit is conducting statutory audited entities, fees payable will be rupees 30,000. Now, suppose if the practice unit has 3 branches and the practice unit has conducted separate branch peer review for all the branches, whether gross receipt from branch will be included in calculation of fees for peer review? We have discussed this topic earlier also. And as per the discussion, if a separate branch peer review is conducted, gross receipt from assurance services earned from such branch or branches shall be excluded, and the average gross receipt or revenue from assurance services during the peer review period will be determined the fees for peer review. And as we all know, ICI has issued various estimate applicable to peer review and guidelines applicable peer review for the peer review process. All the peer review process has been discussed on the ICI portal under the peer review committee website, and it can be accessed by clicking on this link also. And as we have discussed earlier, Form 1 format is here and it shall be submitted to peer review board at ici.in. ICI also issued guidelines for peer review of new unit, peer review guidelines 2022, peer review manual volume 1 and 2, handbook on peer review forms, time schedule of peer review process, in which time a specific step of the peer review shall be completed. It is also mentioned fees of the peer review, sample selection criteria, annexure of peer review report, and standard operating procedure for issuance of duplicate certificate. All these details are available on institute website. If anyone wants, they can access on the portal and obtain the knowledge. Now, if there is any question, welcome. Otherwise, thank you to you all. I am concluding my session. Thank you. If there is any question. Hello.
जी मैम
Yes, sir. Hello.
Whether there are any questions?
Yeah, there's a question from Anil Batra, New Delhi. How do you execute peer review of material pertaining to innovation and new research ideas for which no reference are available?
Peer review of, sorry.
A peer review of innovation and new research ideas for which no reference are available.
Innovation and no research ideas.
How do you execute peer review of material pertaining to innovation and new research ideas for which no reference material are available?
Actually, I cannot understand the question properly. Innovation in research material criteria. Can the
How do you? Yeah, I'll repeat the question. How do you execute peer review of material pertaining to innovation and new research ideas for which no reference are available?
innovation and not research research ideas? I think it is not covered under the audit and assurance engagement.
If Anil Batra is here and listening to us, please revise his question. Second question is from Ajay Ghosh, Bengaluru. With respect to proprietorship firm not having bank branch audit, does peer review certification is mandatory?
If the firm has more than 3 partners, then
No.
even if the
Proprietorship firm only.
proprietorship firm, and if the firm not want to conduct the statutory bank branch audit, peer review is not mandatory for such firm.
Okay. Next question is from Raju Gutti Joseph Adur. What are work included in assurance services? What are
We have discussed what
the work included in assurance?
Assurance
please.
engagement means certificates and review engagements. We have seen the exclusions. That is, if the person is represented before a appellate tribunal or any other authority, it will be excluded. Filing of tax returns will be excluded. But if the firm has issued review reports, certificate, it will be included in the assurance engagements.
Yeah. Next question is MG Raman from Dombivli. The General Clauses Act 1897 does not contain a definition of public interest entity. Our peer review guidelines also does not define the same. So what should be considered the public interest entity?
Public interest entity definition is given in the actually in the code of ethics, and if we will see the FAQ related to peer review, which is issued by the peer review committee, definition of the public interest entity is there in that also. So we can consider in short, we should see nature of the business and number of the nature of business and size of the peer review firm for which we have conducted the audit. All the definition of the it is included in the FAQ only.
Okay, thank you. Next question is from Ahmedabad, Mr. Sanjeev Shah. As per the phase 2 applicability of peer review, in case of audit of unlisted company, the turnover required is 1,000 crore or 100 crore as mentioned in the presentation.
Just a minute. Audit of unlisted entities.
Yeah.
Yes. The turnover is 100 crore only.
Okay. I think answer. Subrat Bandopadhyay ji is from Mumbai. Please share a copy. Okay. Alok Kumar from Muzaffarpur. Please explain form number 2 and form number 9 as per given format of ICI.
Form number 2 is declaration of confidentiality. The peer reviewer ensures that he will maintain confidentiality throughout the peer review process. And form number 9 is issued by the peer reviewer. It is the cover page, and also it includes the page that the practice unit has received the peer review report.
And another query is from Chennai, Mr. Jiramai. In the case of details of UDI, can the firm give a list of each partners? Have to give the list, or does the peer review or PRB have the access to UDI issued by each firm? Means they want consolidated report of like partners, all partners.
Yes. The practice unit has to submit, even if the peer review body has access to the UDIN portal, but the practice unit must submit the details of audience generated during the peer review period, partner wise, year wise, and type of service engagement wise. It is applicable for audit as well as all assurance engagement conducted during the peer review period.
Okay. Next is from Shimoga, Mr. Narasimha Murthy VR. If company borrowing cross more than 50 crore during the FY 25-26, then when the peer review certificate need to be taken and period covered?
If the borrowing exceeds rupees 50 crore, phase 3 will be applicable, and it will be applicable from 1st July 2025.
Okay. I think we have answered all the queries. I'm thankful, ma'am, you for a nice elaboration and excellent deliberation. I hope it will benefit all the members listening across the country. More than 600 participants have joined this conference. I'm also thankful to the CP committee chairman Satishji Gupta and Vishnuji Agrawal, vice chairman, and all the participants and the CP committee office BS who have given the support during this epi seminar. Thank you very much to all of you, and wish you happy new year in advance. Thank you. Yeah, please. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.